Hi, guys. Halfway through the day, almost there. So my name is Jennifer Vu. I'm with the Oakland Raiders. We haven't officially turned Vegas quite yet. So we're opening up Vegas in 2020. So as of right now, we have 2 years left in Oakland. So I'll kind of go through that a little bit later, but just wanted to kind of give you a background of myself. You can call me Jen if we end up meeting out there. And I got my undergrad and graduate program through University of San Francisco. Always grown up in the Bay Area. I oversee the suite and club retention at the Raiders. And I've been with the Raiders for 10 seasons. So prior to that, I was with the Warriors for one, but kind of always been service driven, and been on that side of the industry. So just wanted to give you a little bit of our situational outlook. Kind of my pitch today. We'll give you a little bit of this, how to connect service to sales in your realm, and then we'll kind of go from there. So situational outlook. In Oakland, obviously our stadium has been there a while. It was built over 50 years ago. We had one remodel when we came back when we left LA, left Oakland to go to LA, and then LA back to Oakland in '96. And that's kind of when we built 90 new suites on the east side. And so since then, it's been the same. We are the only baseball stadium in the country, and we're also the second tenants in the building. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with our situation much, but essentially the A's are the first tenant. So for example, they just remodeled one of our clubs, and we found out after they did construction because they don't really need to tell us. So one of my things is, you find out about this remodel, you go over there, you try to put your sales cap on, try to figure out how can you flip this, and, what can we do from a service end, what can we do from a sales end, and kind of go from there. So anyways, that's what it means by second tenants in the building. And then we haven't had a home playoff game in over 15 years. So, how can we sell basically our team? And as the previous speaker had said, it's not about the product on the field. It's more than that, right? So for my team, it's more about the experience. What's going on in their suite? What's going on in their, club seats, that kind of stuff. And then, of course, our other objection is moving to Vegas. So, we've had a few suite holders from Oakland head over to Vegas, make their purchase over there, but that's not many, because the price point is 10 times more. So trying to keep our clients in Oakland happy, but also sell Oakland, knowing that we're moving to Vegas. So on top of that, we're competing with the A's who are there. We're competing with the Warriors next door. We're competing with the Niners down in the South Bay, or I guess San Francisco. So anyways, that's kind of what we're looking at. So as I was going to kind of put my ideas together, Troy asked me kind of what was important to you. Obviously, service is very important to me. That's kind of where my realm is. So I wanted to try to figure out how to tie sales and service together and how to relate to you guys. Obviously you're in a sports boot camp. So this is kind of one of the quotes that I found that I thought was very meaningful for my end, and then obviously I will tie it into you guys. So nothing builds your brand as effectively, nothing drives repeat purchases more quickly, nothing increases the value of your products and services more efficiently than your customer service. So at the end of the day, I think customer service is your number one friend, right? It's 5 times easier, whatever the stat is, to sell an existing customer over a new customer, because you don't really have to describe much. They know the program, they know how everything kind of works, and how to keep them 100% satisfied. Look, every team has a service team, right? But at the end of the day, you guys are making that pitch. And how do you relate? Like, you can't depend on your service team to do everything. Like, we step in after the sale's made. We take over. We, do what we need to do on the suite end, on the club end. But at the end of the day, it's your brand. And so how do you grow your own personal brand? And I think at the end of the day, for me, it's your own customer service. It's providing more than just a sale. Following up with them, whether it's handwritten notes or, whatever it may be, going out to visit them after the game and thanking them, meeting their customers in the suite, trying to figure out Why are they bringing out their people? How can you help them? Building a closer relationship that way. You think about an experience, going to like a luxury brand, right? Like whether you go shopping at a Lexus dealership or for the ladies, Louis Vuitton or something like that. You go in, you expect something, right? You expect more than just a sale. You expect whether it's complimentary water, a smile, if you're buying a Maserati, maybe champagne, something like that, a little bit more than just a sale. And I think relating that to sales, it's important to figure out what's more than just the product. So, it's more than just your business card, it's your name, right? So you take your name wherever you go. And so I think at the end of the day, kind of your experience that you get from this brand that you're buying is what you're all about. And so how do I, as a service-minded individual, make my sales team, the people I work with day in, day out, think more like myself, right? And it goes both ways. How does the sales team make the service team think more sales-minded to help them? So I kind of put together 2 examples that I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about that the Raiders have done to basically make our sales team more service-minded. So, of course, the Raiders, we got Coach Gruden this offseason. He is as intense as he is on TV. Very, very intense guy. And he came into our offices and basically said, hey, what can I do to help you sell suites? What can I do to connect to the community? And, you're in the room, you're like, okay, coach, like, I got it, like, relax, like, go coach, go do your thing, we'll come back to you. So he lives in one of our country clubs out in the Bay Area. And he wanted to get to know his neighbors, right? Get to know the people that live on his street. That was one of his things. And so what we ended up doing is that we took a postcard. We basically went old school. We took a postcard, and I think you guys can relate this if you write your own handwritten note, right? It doesn't have to be a company-centric event. So we went postcard, old school. I learned a lot of things about the U.S. Postal Service. And basically what we were trying to do is take this postcard and figure out how we were going to get it to the neighbors of his country club. Took us a while to figure it out. We ended up, basically you can hire this service at USPS. Again, this might be something you're interested in. And I guess the mailman just goes, they have a postal route every day. They just kind of drop in their flyer, kind of like when a new gym opens and you get like a flyer in the mail. I mean, who says you can't do that with, something of your own tag, your own personal brand, right? So we ended up inviting them to a cocktail reception at this vintage car museum, had doors open, and then we ended up inside the event doing, on ESPN, Coach Gruden had like a QB camp, so we basically mimicked that same style. We did a setup on stage with like video behind him, and he was hyped. He was going. He ended up speaking for about 45 minutes and connecting. But how we made our sales team think service. So usually when we have events like this, people RSVP, and then the service team takes over. We basically say, hey, thanks for RSVPing. Appreciate it. Here are the details. Like, look forward to seeing you at the event. Instead of us service doing that, premium service, we ended up giving it to our sales guys. So we said, hey, you know what? Why don't you guys take this role over? Why don't you guys vet these people, but do it service-mindedly? So we gave them a couple of touch points, and we basically said, obviously vet them the way you want to, but also play it up, Ask them, things like, are they bringing their kids? Would they like an extra +1? Kind of be a little bit more, less salesy and more customer service, how can we help you minded. So it worked out really well. We had 300 clients come out with current clients as well to mingle. So that's kind of how we not necessarily tricked our sales team, but made them think from a different kind of mindset. And then one other example that we do every year, we're lucky enough at the Raiders to have our training camp in Napa, so wine country, everything like that. And this is one of the invitations that's going out shortly. But essentially, our sales team reaches out to their prospects, vets them the same way. We ask them to be more service-minded, tell them a little bit more about the program, how can we help, kind of thing, more than, hey, you're coming out to a prospecting event, we expect you to buy, kind of thing. And look, sometimes it works with people where you strong-arm them, and sometimes people just want to feel loved by a brand, loved by you, and kind of go from there. So any questions in regards to these events? It's pretty straightforward. I know, you have baseball, you have spring training and all that kind of stuff. So little ways to kind of figure out how you do things on your own. And then I'm going to just kind of jump into what I'm dealing with Vegas coming up. So we're going to be there in 2020, and what kind of environment are we headed into? So obviously, new stadium. We're the first tenants in the building. It's not privately funded. It's $750 million is coming from a little hotel tax. I think it ended up being like 0.7% hotel tax on every hotel room in the state of Nevada. Ends up raising $750 million. So it's amazing what that state can come up with. But we'll be the first tenants. UNLV will be there, but we're not selling UNLV. And then from my service-minded kind of personality, and something we've talked to our sales guys too, is at the end of the day, I'm moving from an Oakland kind of environment into one of the best hospitality industries in the world, right? They have VIP programs. Like, I'm going to be competing with the freaking Bellagio. Like, what? I don't even know what they do. They probably have planes taking people in and all that stuff. And, we have a ton of hospitality within a half mile of the Strip. So, yes, it affects my end. I have to figure out what kind of programs I'm putting together. But I think it also affects our sales team because, they are selling whatever our suites end up being, however much that costs. But, selling a product with the Raiders instead of staying at the reason why you're coming to Vegas is to have fun on the Strip and stay on the Strip. Yes, our stadium will be across the way from Mandalay Bay, but I think at the end of the day, the sales team will have to figure out how they can provide that service and get people to come back on a rental business. Because on an annual business, we'll be fine, right? We have the casinos, we have a lot of wealthy retired people out there, more than you think. But that's kind of one of the things that our sales team is going to be tasked with. And on a service end, I can't help every single salesperson every single day come up with a deck and try to figure that out. So that's kind of one of the things that we've been tasked with. And then I just wanted to show you guys a couple of pictures. This is, as of Friday, kind of what our stadium looks like. It's right across from Mandalay Bay. So there is a overpass right to the right of this, kind of in that shadow, that will probably be converted to a pedestrian bridge on game day, and people can kind of take the tram from other hotels, through the hotels, and then walk across. So that's coming together, and then this is kind of what the stadium's going to look like. So I don't have a laser pointer, but T-Mobile Arena is kind of like that oddly shaped up to the left over there, right on the Strip. So obviously I'm also competing with the Knights, right? They just went to the Stanley Cup and trying to figure out how in the world are we going to set up our sales team to be effective, to be efficient, to kind of go back to my quote, to do all those things and start it with customer service, because without that, you're kind of left in the water. But that's kind of all I have. It's kind of short and sweet. I kind of wanted to open it up to the room. If you guys have anything, I have a couple business cards to hand out. I'm sure I would love to connect with you guys too as you guys are starting your career in the sports industry. Yeah.
From retention rate from year 1 to year 2, what are some different things that you guys do to keep that retention from year 1 to year 2?
Are you talking about Oakland or in general? Gotcha. Yeah, so his question was in regards to retention, how do we keep kind of our accounts from year 1 to year 2? Look, at the end of the day, to be honest with you, 6-7 years ago, we weren't sold out at the Coliseum. We were struggling. We were 4-12 every year. We were doing buy one get one frees. Like, we were doing everything we could, and that was kind of something we needed to figure out. And why did we have such a big base kind of leave us and start from the bottom, right? And so what did we ended up doing is we put season tickets and club tickets were together in one department. And so what we ended up doing is we took club service and we put it, and I was in the suite department at that point. So we kind of, instead of top tier of the bottom, we put them kind of like bottom of the top tier. So just a different mentality, just a different way to think about things. And so we kind of addressed it from that point and tried to figure out, okay, my big thing is face-to-face, right? Like, I want them to know who I am. It's harder for them to say no to you if they know who you are and, like, you're an actual human being besides a handwritten note or, like, on the phone or something. So we ended up shifting our focus to, like, hey, we're going to have a meet your rep at the game. We're going to do, things throughout the club. We have kind of a program called the Rookie Symposium. So first-year club seat members come to camp, and typically they're not allowed to because, first year kind of thing. But we take them to camp. We do kind of like a timeshare presentation in a way where it's like, hey, here are all the benefits. We're here to meet you kind of thing. And just start building that relationship. And I think that applies a lot to the sales side too, is building that relationship and kind of building something more than just sports and more than a losing season. So we ended up focusing on that, and I think it really helped. And at this point, even with us heading to Vegas in 2 years, we have over, I think, a 15,000 person wait list. We're sold out. If you haven't signed up for the wait list yet, you probably won't get anything in Oakland kind of thing. And we have a ton of people still on Vegas. So just kind of focusing on, like, relationships. Like, that's what I'm all about. That's what, I'm looking forward to meeting everyone in here and just trying to figure out, like, how can I help you? At the end of the day, we're all a team here. We're all here for a reason. We love sports. We love to connect with people and try to help people out. And so that's probably number one thing, face-to-face. Thanks for the question. Any more? Cool. Thanks, guys.